welcome in the 7-9 podcast, 7:06 p.m. Eastern Time on your standard issue dial. Welcome in. I'm Michael Govier, Travis Roy, Eric Bransham. We're doing The Man Who Wasn't There, a 2001 film that was previously going to be 1985's To Live and Die in L.A., but it was unable to be found, and streaming was a challenge, so therefore that one was nixed. We're doing The Man Who Wasn't There, Billy Bob Thornton, blah, blah, blah. Does it hold up or not? We're going to find out real soon, right, Travis?
Really, really, really soon from the sound of things.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, we are. Eric Bransham, what do you think?
I couldn't be more excited. You know, I don't believe in torrents, so we did what we had to do. We had to make an alternative choice. It just turns out to be this one. So I recommend the film. Go see if you can find it. Watch To Live and Die in LA because it's a lot of fun, and I hope it gets back out in the mainstream because it's a good.
And reason will prevail. Reason will prevail.
Reason did not prevail, unfortunately. Although it wasn't really about reason, we just couldn't find it. So it's not like it was unreasonable.
William Friedkin did not prevail.
Well, Billy Friedkin was not able to give us what we wanted. I'm going to watch it next week regardless. I will find it. I will find you.
I will find you. I will leave you here.
I will watch you no matter what occurs.
Oh, God. It's so funny to me now. I can't believe I missed that for all these years. I could have been saying that for 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years almost.
We probably will for the next 30, so you got that going for you.
I certainly will. Yeah, so we'll do the Man Who Wasn't There for our Does It Hold Up segment. I will choose at the end of the show next week's selection. Right. And next week we're going to have, well, the week after that, we'll have on Aaron Worley. He'll be our next guest host. He's going to be live August 26th. I believe he selected film. He originally selected a movie, then 86'd it, so I think he has an update to that. So we'll let you know what that happens to be next week when he makes it official. Having said all that, Travis Roy, let's get into quarantine viewing picks. I'm being speedy this time, by the way.
Oh, people. Yeah, we're not saying hello to I had such a big week.
I said hello to you. Oh, what do you got? Go ahead. Come on, give me it. I thought we did that already.
Oh, well, I mean, for one, I was really happy to be welcomed on to the All-American Spook Show horror podcast. Oh, cool. We had Donnie on recently, and they were kind enough to bring me on. So check out the episode that we did with Donnie a couple weeks ago. We did They Live, and they're doing this whole like Summer of the Wolf thing. So it was really cool to like get on a podcast and just talk werewolves and werewolf movies and werewolf history. Like it was very nice. It was fun. And so they got a whole series that they're doing. So go over there, and my episode is episode 5 of the werewolf history. The last one they're doing like these half-hour episodes about werewolf history interspersed with werewolf movie episodes. So check that out. And then I had quite a day. I don't know about you guys, but my dog. I spent the whole day at the emergency vet with my dog. It was a hellish day, but turned out to be fine. She's fine. She's gonna be okay. But it was awesome. It was a fun day. So I'm like run around podcast. So which. Apparently, Mike, it sounds like you're in that mode too.
I never worry about that dog. That dog will never die. So.
I hope you're right, friend.
I mean, one day it will be.
Kind of scary if it was like 60 years old. I mean, I'd be frightened more than happy.
I'd be
Christina,
thrilled.
If Chris Deary's wife's Christina dog. That's not a
She
bad.
named her dog
Chris
after
Deary's
herself?
wife.
He married a dog?
Hey, God, that sounded terrible. Chris's wife, Christina. That dog lived to be 18, and that dog would not die ever. So I'm thinking that Rooney's from the same realm, even though they're not the same breed by any means, because that was like a hot dog, a little Dotson. But
I'll keep my fingers crossed. Cream Puff was 33. I think that's the record.
Bullshit!
Is that a Chihuahua?
Look it up, man.
Chihuahua. I think he's right. How are things in Griffith, Indiana?
Great, and back to work, but I'm excited. It's going to be a great school year.
New job.
With all the mandates. I'm happy about my district. So, yeah, I'm all smiles.
What kind of jokes do you make? I'm so fascinated by what kind of teacher you are.
I keep it PG.
Well, of course you keep it PG. They're children, but...
do you make references to like Roger Deakins or?
Yeah. Deakins.
Yeah, do you talk about Dante Spinetti and like how important he was in your life to these kids?
Talk Sawbass's titles in our art lesson.
You bring up planes, trains, and automobiles, and what's your favorite scene?
Yeah, you're gonna have to show the kids that, and you can use the excuse of Thanksgiving right before the break. Hey, guys, this is a Thanksgiving film, but it's probably rated R. Isn't it rated R?
I was amazed I was able to show fourth graders a Martin Scorsese film. So, can you guess what it was?
Hugo?
Tintin.
Yeah, it was Hugo. So it was like,
is Tintin? Wait, am I making that up?
That was Spielberg. That was Spielberg.
It's all like the same animated trash, though, right? Like kind of real, not animated.
I like Hugo, but they were bored. They were like, who cares about this train or this kid or what's doing here?
That was a kid's movie for adults.
I'll tell you this: The Aviator is not like really inappropriate. I mean, it's weird. I mean, he's naked, but that's like a nude. He's a nude human being pissing in mason jars.
He's adultery.
I'm saying it out loud right now.
Yeah.
Pick that over because I'm not showing it.
The only thing I was going on is there's not a lot of bad language, which is not really the main prerequisite for
it's a new year, and I am going to show another round. I said I wouldn't show it again, but I'm going to show my students 12 Years a Slave, so that'll be
boy, here we go again.
It's an important film. Mike, you got stuff going on in your world. What's going on in your world?
Yeah,
just wait for the show to end so I can finally see my girlfriend after 17 months. So.
17 months. 17 months.
You say it out loud. You say it out loud.
Longer than some of my relationships.
I know, right? Like it's way longer than all of my relationships. This one alone, just the separation. So
true testament. God bless
you. You can't really comprehend it. You say it out loud, but you can't really absorb every day and like all the lonely nights and all the like this sucks, and it's really just you can't encompass it in even a few sentences, or even might take an hour or two to kind of break it down. And maybe that's what we'll do. We'll talk about it because we'll see each other in real life. We're kind of starting over. It's going to be I imagine it might be kind of awkward. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I know we're very excited though. So
kudos to you guys for staying strong, pushing through it.
Well, thanks to Canada for opening their border. I know the United States is still closed to Canadians and fucking morons, but Canada always doing the right thing. I'm this much closer to being a Canadian citizen every day. This fucking country. God damn it. Anyways, society. I gotta talk society. So.
Mark them.
That was 3. That's it. No more. Okay.
3 of that word. All right. So quarantine viewing picks. Let's keep it moving.
Quarantine viewing picks. So wait a minute. I want to ask you a question though. Like I honestly, was there a text thread about Suicide Squad and seeing it in the theater?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we talked about that.
No, and you said that. You guess you missed it, but I was
politely asked Travis if he wanted to see it, and Travis is like, "No."
Oh, that was it.
No. But before that, we'd already talked about it. We'd already me and Eric had we'd already talked.
I just missed that. I missed that. I honestly missed that.
Yeah, and I'd ask you some other. Anyways, this does not matter. This
is for real.
Neither here nor there.
I was like, I'm going to return to the theater and I'll see Suicide Squad. It's going to be like my big return, but that did not happen.
Yeah, I shut it down. I feel a little guilty. I feel bad. I mean, the movie fucking didn't do that well, and I honestly really enjoyed it.
Didn't?
No, it didn't do that great. Well, but because it's because fucking COVID. You look at this. You look at like the chart of like how cases have gone nationally, and like when Fast 9 came out and Cruella came out, like it was like the lowest since the pandemic started, and then the Suicide Squad came out like right at this big ramp up, and I really, and then you throw HBO Max into the mix, and it just didn't get the numbers. I mean, I watched it that weekend, and I honestly really liked it. Eric, what did you think?
I watched, honestly, Travis, I support James Gunn. I watched half of it. I had to shut it off because family was in town. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I just kind of found it really fucking unpleasant. But
it's a big mistake. It's a big mistake. Don't do that.
It's very enjoyable. I thought
finish it.
Yeah, I found it to be a lot of fun.
Malicious.
It was great. I felt the same way you felt at that point in the movie. I honestly did. I was like, this is... My initial feeling at about an hour in was this is way better than 2016, without a doubt already. But it's still kind of like,
it's really well made. It's
too Guardians-y for a while there.
Am I just gonna sit here and watch people getting blown away and like
really enjoying it? This is a Suicide Squad, god damn it!
Yeah, I mean, if you're not in, because DC has that whole they can go like full Lobo and stuff. Like they get really, really fucking violent sometimes. So it's cool to see that in film, and he is the perfect person to do it because he can capture that comic book zaniness and fun, but he's still got those trauma roots. But
that's the thing, man. Like I had to laugh. Sorry to interrupt you, but like
that's fine.
There's no. I'm sorry. James Gunn can apologize on Twitter, but there's no way he still doesn't think those old jokes are funny. This is the same sense of humor.
I disagree. I and everyone we know almost made similar jokes at the same time, and I think a lot of us have shown a lot of growth. I think that you're way off course.
I don't know.
I don't know him personally, but I also forgive people, so we all make mistakes, and I'm a pretty forgiving guy. So
I'll finish
it.
I mean,
except like Hitler, I don't really forgive Hitler. So
yeah, some things are just too much. Talk about going too far.
I just want to give people a boundary for me, so they know where I draw the lines.
It's a distant boundary. I mean, off in a shady veiled distance.
Somewhere out there, it's out there somewhere.
Somewhere out there.
I
It's Hitler's
thought it kicked
mustache.
ass. I thought it was fucking great, man. So yes, I did see it. I saw it at home, like you.
Yeah.
And I did not see it in the theater, but man, it was
I'll
Idris
watch it
Elba.
again.
Like Bloodsport is cool. That's definitely a character. I know that apparently Peacemaker is going to get the spin-off, but I want to see more Bloodsport, frankly.
My favorite's Polka Dot Man. Like I kind of knew he would be, but
Yeah!
loved him. Loved
That
him.
guy. That's so cool to see Thomas Schiff get like a main effort in a movie.
Yeah, David
He's
Dastmalchian. He's fucking great.
I just got to call him Thomas Schiff forever because
What role was that? I don't remember.
that was in The Dark Knight. He's Thomas Schiff.
that was
He's a
the character.
schizophrenic. When he
Yeah, that was
confronts
his
Harvey in the alley there. Yeah.
That was his breakthrough role. Yeah.
You know, this is the third film featuring Harley Quinn, and I'm sorry, I hate to be negative, but I just can't get on board with this character. She's not that. They're really trying to get people to like her.
I agree with
I'm
you.
like,
She actually was.
just
I was
acts
not
like an
feeling her.
idiot, and
I was
I'm
not
just
feeling her in
it.
this. It was everybody else that I dug, frankly.
I kind of felt like they felt obliged to put her in there at this point, and the film would have been fine without her. But I do still like her. I do still like her. But yeah, I kind of agree that like you take her out of the movie, and it's not really a huge loss.
That's the point. Yeah, that's
King
a good
Shark,
way to say it.
really. I mean, that's King Shark, Polka Dot Man really made the movie for me
I'll
personally.
finish it up.
Well, I loved Rat Girl too.
Yeah,
I
she was
like her
great.
too. I like that backstory.
Ratcatcher
I
2.
don't know her name. Ratcatcher.
Ratcatcher 2.
2, yeah.
Ratcatcher the sequel. Electric Boogaloo. Apparently. So, did you guys watch Val? I watched Val. Did you guys watch Val?
Loved it.
I
I've not had a chance to see it yet.
You loved it. Whoa.
Loved it.
It's a documentary about
Aaron,
Val.
did you
right?
like it? Yeah, this is the new documentary about Val Kilmer. You were very moved, eh?
For an actor that has what? Let's be honest, like 3 really good movies out of like a huge career. He's still such an interesting personality.
That's ridiculous. Top Secret, The Saint,
So-
The Doors. I love
the
it.
worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
No,
period.
but I
This
know,
is
but
known.
it's a good movie though. I like it. It's
Good
a fun
performance.
film.
I mean, good
Yeah,
performance. even
and
if
he's
it's not
great
good
in
movie.
MacGruber. That was like one of his last. Like, wow, he still had it before
Listen,
his
I'm a
life
fan,
went the way it went.
and like the film. I'm sorry to hijack your segment, but it does gloss over years and years of just clearly unprofessional behavior with no remorse given. It's just like, oh, okay, I'll show a couple of clips and make myself look like this artiste, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, and they have kind of a montage where they talk about like him, rumors about him being difficult, and it's pretty clearly like, hey, I might have one foot out the door, maybe want to rehabilitate my image before I go, kind of situation. Which he's not. He's healthy now, but I mean, like he's in full recovery from throat cancer. But yeah, there is definitely an element of like some PR work going on here.
Can you talk?
Yeah, he can talk. He's got the what do you call it? The
Oh, he
trach
does
ring.
have the thing.
He's got the
He
trach
does.
ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got trach
Okay. Wow. Shit. You guys also mentioned that Island of Dr. Moreau doc a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
too.
Lost
He was.
Soul.
He was clearly a fucking disaster in that movie. So.
Oh yeah. And God, between that and Val and the stuff that they showed in Val, like I want like a 13-hour fucking limited series docuseries on just this. I mean, I am I could never learn enough about the shooting of the Island of Dr. Moreau, because every time I find out something about it, I'm like, that's fucking fascinating.
Eric's right though. The Ghost of the Darkness sucked too. Maybe you're right.
Well, I think one of the beautiful things about this documentary is it does a really good job of telling us that, look, actors are just people like we are. And I was more invested in just his story as a father, a husband who's, he didn't have the best marriage, as a lot of marriages don't last, and a son and a brother. I love the human aspect of it, maybe even more so than the creative one. I
will say that most marriages don't involve one of the spouses pretending that they're Jim Morrison for a year, which I think would put strain on a marriage. But
that's all right.
He was married to my girl, Joanne Whaley. Remember my Whaley crush? My Whaley obsession. Oh man, that was out of control. I watched every fucking movie she was in 2008 and 9.
They have a pretty interesting story. His whole story is very interesting. What I found most fascinating about the movie is that not only does he have this really singular life, like this is truly singular, like he's an American movie star, but like a kind of classic movie star. He's not like most movie stars. He's got like it's very different. And then on top of that, he's one of those guys that even like he's got footage of himself from when he was a little kid. They were doing the Super 8s, but he was one of the first people to buy a VHS. Did you see the fucking, minor spoiler alert, but there's he literally rents a garage for all of his videotapes. This man has documented like every moment of his life. It turns out Val Kilmer is a huge archive of Hollywood historical knowledge that is probably honestly going to be worth quite a bit to historians and stuff. It's really cool.
Oh,
Val 2, bring it on. Let's bring in the sequel.
Guys,
We got the footage.
What's the matter?
I made a mistake. We should have started the show. I forgot to thank Mark Holton for letting me interview him, and that was really cool. I should have mentioned that at the top. I'm sorry.
That's a good place to start.
I know.
Yeah, that was kind of. I knew there was other things, but we were obviously, understandably, very excited about seeing your girlfriend again after a year and a half. So we got caught up in that. But yeah, you tell the crowd the good news and where to find it.
Mark Holton, the legend himself, story career, right, Eric?
Chubbs, Dude in Leprechaun, Francis Buxton. That says it all.
Gacy. Yeah. Apparently Gacy's getting second life. I might have to take a look at it. I never actually saw the Gacy movie. I thought it was a television movie, but it was apparently just a straight to video.
It was direct to Blockbuster.
Oh,
was it really?
Yes, it was.
Or as Mark said in the interview, direct to tape. That's how he said it.
He wasn't lying.
If you want to see that, it's up on the Palazzo channel. We also crossed it. I think I posted on the Cinema 9 Instagram feed as well. I wanted to try to cross it. We should probably put it up on our YouTube channel as well. I just didn't get around to do it. I've been very busy. Either way, it was like Palazzo is how we connect with him because he's the guy who says, "Hey, this is Enrico Palazzo" in The Naked Gun, which is just fucking classic. And couldn't have been cooler.
And maybe tell the people what Hey Enrico Palazzo is, because not everybody knows, because not everybody that listens to us necessarily knows us.
It's from The Naked Gun. It's later in the movie.
No. It's a podcast that you do, right?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, this. Yeah,
not everybody just automatically knows that. They might not know.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're really good at this stuff. You should have done this. Yes, I do. It's a fantasy baseball podcast, and it's called Hey, It's Enrico Palazzo. It's a tribute to that exact moment and that guy. So the fact that we finally connected with the guy who said it, it's like, universes colliding. It's like, we'll never top the moment. He gave us the blessing on the logo, even though we made him with a blue face and everything. And he's like, yeah. He said when he first saw it, he's like, what in the hell is that? And he said it just like that. The guy was very cool. He was very reasonable. And he answered every damn question that I had. I wish, I don't know, I should have come up with more questions, but I wanted to we covered basically every big role he was in. So if you want to know more about Mark Holton and his career, go check it out on our Instagram feed, a Palazzo Podcast YouTube channel, 2 L's, 2 Z's. And he also has a store. I'll throw it out there too because he was nice to us. MarkHoltonStore.com. He'll sign prints. He'll sign shirts with all of his favorite characters on it and stuff. Very cool dude. Follow him on Instagram. That's the best place to hang out with him. Official Mark Holton.
Well, check them out on Cameo because for a very small, modest fee, you can get birthday wishes, pep talks, anniversary wishes from the man himself who you basically grew up with in front of your television. So go to cameo.com, Mark Holton.
Will he fade his face up as Gacy and do a cameo for me? Is that something I want?
The price is right.
I bet you
there's some horror people out there who are weird, and I know he said they're into it, so that's not my cup of tea because I kind of think it's colliding into a real world thing that actually happened. But either way, Mark Holton is the best. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. That's very cool. And thank you, Mike, for having your first, congratulations, I guess, Mike, not thank you, but congratulations on your first movie star interview. Big deal for you as a podcaster. It's pretty cool.
It's a weird thing, dude. It is weird because, I didn't want to kiss his ass, but I also wanted to let him know that I appreciate. I didn't want to. There's this thing where people make fun of people, they'll have them on the air and they'll kind of rip on them in a way. And I didn't want it to be like that. I just wanted to ask him questions and kind of just get his take on life and what it's like to be in the movies. And he was all about that.
People come on my podcast so I can make fun of you to strangers.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are let's bring this guy on and he won't know that we're making fun of him. And later on, the Daily Show mastered that kind of thing, where they kind of turn the tables. And I didn't want to do that at all.
That would be awful.
I agree. But people like that shit.
Why would that even cross your mind, dude? What the fuck?
There's a lot of fucked up people out there. I've seen all the entertainment in the world. What can I tell you? But
Hey,
I wish Chris could have been there. He was supposed to be there. Deary, I know it was very sad that he was stuck at work. And
that's too bad.
Yeah, because he loves Teen Wolf so much. So sorry, Deary.
Condolences, Deary. All right, so the other movies I watched besides Suicide Squad and Val, it's been a busy week for me. At American Horror, the All American Spook Show podcast recommendation. I watched this movie called Wolf Cop from 2014. Have you seen it, Eric?
No.
I gotta say, Wolf Cop's pretty fucking good. I was surprised. I mean, it's obviously it's an hour and 10-minute movie. It's called Wolf Cop. Speaking of Teen Wolf,
he's a cop and a wolf.
It's fucking Teen Wolf, but he's a cop instead of a basketball player. But there's still for one, most memorable werewolf transformation in film history, hands down, and two, it's genuinely like, I mean, it's funny and it's making fun of itself, but there's actually like not bad story going on there as far as like, like it's making fun of itself, but there's actually still like a decent plot. So as far as horror comedy goes, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Let's back up. You're putting Wolf Cop transformation up against the legendary Rick Baker American Werewolf in London sequence,
which I've always preferred Rod Bottin's, The Howling, since I've seen that at least.
But, I've heard you say that.
Wolf Cop.
But Wolf Cop. But when I didn't say best, you'll note I said memorable, and maybe not for the reasons you might think. So yeah, but it was a pretty decent movie. Speaking of werewolves, I watched Wolfman's Got Nards from 2018. This is the documentary that Andre, I believe his name's Andre Gower, the guy that played the main kid on Monster Squad. This is a whole documentary just about Monster Squad. It's fucking awesome. It was a lot of fun. I mean, if you like Monster Squad, Wolfman's Got Nards is streaming on a bunch of different services. It's relatively quick and leans heavy on the nostalgia. But
what about this one?
Pet monster.
Is this the same thing?
Well, the word monster's involved.
Oh, okay. I got it wrong.
Still going. I never owned that thing. Did anybody?
Wasn't he the purple and like?
He's blue, and then
a bluish.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Now it's all coming back. It's rushing back like a therapist session. Last but not least, I watched a pretty shit Francis Ford Coppola film called The Cotton Club from 1984. Now I know he's released a director's cut recently that's supposed to be much corrected, and it is pretty cool to see a young Tom Waits, a young Nick Cage. It's cool that Richard Gere can play the piano and the cornet. Well, that's all cool. Shit movie, just disjointed as fuck. Went on forever. It was endless. Like I'm just like when it was grateful when it stopped. So, but other than that, it was a pretty busy week. So that's it.
Shit.
Mother of God, that is intense. Richard Gere still doing stuff?
Yeah, I mean, he's breathing. Right?
Here it is, by the way. Look at that. There you go.
Oh yeah. With the handcuffs, it's all rushing back.
Yep,
good times. Love that dude. He's a good guy. All right, Eric Branson, what have you been watching? Travis, you can't drop Travis's watch list. He's been a busy boy.
Dude, speaking of monsters, like, last week I talked about the subterranean documentary Dark Days. So I kind of stayed in subterranean universe and watched this fucking movie, Chud. Yeah,
Chud Pud? Chud?
No, just
Chud Pud. Hey, Chud Pud.
Cannibalistic humanoid underdwellers.
Yeah, we've all heard of it. I've never actually seen it. It's been on my list for a while though.
I fucking watched it on Tubi. Like I turned it on. Like how bad could it be? We got like monsters in the sewers.
Right.
John Hurd, Daniel Stern. It's fucking horrible, man. It's not good. Like it's even worse than I thought it would or even could be. Like it's really dumb. Chud Pod, if you approve of Chud, for your namesake, let us know because I found it to be total trash. Not good.
Sounds like Chud Pud would absolutely have to watch Chud. I don't know how that could not happen at some point.
He likes Chud, but I don't understand this. It's horrible. I did really fucking enjoy 1959's House on Haunted Hill, the original William Castle, Vincent Price film. Like,
come on.
Come on. Like,
you scared?
Well, no.
It was eerie, and for the time, there's some genuinely like eerie sequences.
The blind lady walking through the dark.
And like just the setup of the story, I think, was really interesting. Just for kind of the campy late 50s horror, run of the mill horror. Yeah, interesting. True. Like, and Vincent Price, he could act. I never knew he actually could perform so well. I like it.
Even I love Vincent Price. I what am I talking about? I take it back. Take it back immediately.
Scary old man with the voice, but like he's really good at it as the conniving host of this.
To a generation, he's just going to be known as the thriller guy.
Yeah,
though.
Thriller voice. Yeah. You know what?
Oh, here it is. Chud is pretty great. It's trash 80s horror.
It's so dumb. Like, even the monsters are so dumb.
Did you try watching it drunk?
I was stone cold sober.
Go back and watch it drunk. I find that the sometimes like the really subpar 80s trash goes good with a couple of beers.
Well, dude, I wasn't done with subterranean horror because I took you up on 1980s Alligator.
All right.
fucking loved it.
It's awesome.
I fucking loved it. I watched Alligator 2, The Mutation, right after it, and I also loved it. Like alligator horror.
Yeah,
I love every alligator. I even love Lake Placid. You give me an alligator.
Oh boy,
Mike, this character was the inspiration for Max Cherry in Jackie Brown. Literally, he based that character and wrote it for Robert Forster because of this movie. You might like it.
There's a fan theory that it might even be the same guy that defeated the alligator in the sewer.
Oh, well, I think
basically, it's basically the same fucking character. Really.
I didn't know subterranean horror was a genre, so
it definitely is, man.
Sewer rats? Is there like a sewer rat horror movie somewhere?
Yeah, rats with a Z at the end.
Is there an exclamation point?
Rat Boy. Rat Boy?
Oh yeah, never forget Rat Boy.
Rat Boy film. We got greenlit.
Been a while since we brought up Rat Boy.
It has. That was a staple for a minute.
Oh, wait too long.
Capped off the week with 2007's Enchanted, the
Which
Amy Adams Enchanted.
What? The Disney movie?
Yeah, Amy Adams is like this Disney princess.
Oh,
Patrick Dempsey?
It
was okay.
Oh, wow.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I loved it.
He's ashamed. By the way, podcast people, he's doing the ashamed face.
I am. But you know what? God bless it. Because it was an interesting, original story. And I liked the numbers by Alan Menken. And there you have it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. Some people said it's not fun, but you said it is fun, so that's great. Yeah. I never saw that one, but it's like it's a modern day retelling, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
That is accurate.
It's fucking great.
Okay, cool.
Did you watch any movies, Michael?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it when I watch movies. We can't see what you're seeing, bud.
On your ceiling, bro?
I know. I it's so funny. I'm going through my recently watched. There's a few movies that we can't mention here. This is
pornography. You've been watching pornography.
We don't normally include porno in our quarantine.
It's been a long time, and I kind of went back and kind of looked at my old files. So there's a couple from there. Yeah, I was watching it. I'm honest. I'm not kidding. I watched a porno
I can tell
called
you're not kidding.
Chameleons, and it's like an hour and 40 minutes. And it's like really high end and well done. It's so funny. It made me laugh.
You sat from beginning to end of the
I
thing?
did.
Like watched it like it was a movie?
I did. I didn't think I would, and then I remembered I'd watched it like 12 years ago, and this is like a classic apparently. So very high end.
Whoa. You watched it for the second time. I want you to go to your watch list, okay? I want you to go to your watch list, find all the movies that are on it that are of equal time, and ask yourself, should I? I'm just kidding.
What's the plot?
Yeah. Who's the star? Who we got? We got is that a Jill Kelly feature?
Deidre Holland.
Oh yeah, I remember that name vaguely. Maybe I don't know.
There's some guy named Rocky in it. I think that's common too. Yeah, some faces you might recognize, but not the huge stars of the day like Janine and all those people. No, but it is from that era, like late 90s. Anyways, it's an interesting story. It's about chameleons. They're aliens. They've turned into like sex fiends.
I mean, if I was an alien, I get it.
Yeah. Anyways, that was an interesting movie. But I watched other stuff too. I have to admit though, I wanted to do it. I started watching Sopranos over again because Travis has been doing like the one episode thing and listening to the episodes that
I'm talking Sopranos, their podcast.
Baltasanti are doing, and I want to check out that pod still, but I started watching I finished the first season and now I just started season 2 because I only watched it for the first time in 2016. So this is actually the first watch of actually knowing what happens now.
Wow, I didn't know that about you. We
talked about it a long time ago, but I wouldn't remember that either. So
you'd be happy to learn that the oral history of the podcast is like we're making a book, and the oral history of the Sopranos is coming out in November, and they've named the book "Woke Up This Morning." So woke up this morning, which we've been known to sing once or twice.
They bring up the skip intro every time in HBO Max, and I'm like, I just can't do it. Sometimes I'm like, I gotta hear this. It's catchy tune.
Love it. Yeah, I've been watching Sopranos this week too, of course.
Yay!
The podcast that they do is interesting because it's like, hey, listen to two old friends, just their relationship just dissipate in real time. Like they're not having the experience that we have. Like we've only become closer doing this. These guys clearly are like growing apart.
Really?
It gets pretty fucking awkward sometimes, honestly. I mean, it's funny and I like it, but sometimes like it's like clear, like there's like clear tension. I'm like, I don't know, like Steven Sharippa just like, hey, you fucking high-hatted me, you fucking egoist, you fucker. Like, and Imperioli's like, what the fuck did I do? What? Like, what are you saying this to all these people for? It's funny. But
maybe they should bring in Massive Genius, and then have a sit down with Hesh. Maybe they could all work it out.
He does come on. Jerry Adler comes on. Bokeem does not make an appearance.
Jerry Adler's still alive. That's great.
Jerry Adler's still alive. Dominic Chianese comes on. He's still alive. This is pretty cool.
Okay, it's just another reason to check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I forgot to mention last week, and I told Travis this after the show. I watched The Hunt, not Mads Mikkelsen's, but the
other Hunt. Yeah,
the one that came out that got delayed because of the Vegas shooting for a couple of years.
Because the president didn't like it.
Oh.
The president didn't like it?
Trump literally made a tweet about the movie, and then they canceled it right after that.
Oh, well, I thought it was because of the Vegas shooting, because it was supposed to come out right after that too. That was another reason.
And no, like that was like tensions were high. Tensions were high around that time. Good thing they weren't before or after between the right and the left, but tensions were high. And Trump put out some tweet, mentioned the movie by name and like saying it was going to be destructive. I don't remember his exact wording, but
okay, well that makes sense too. Now, based on what the movie's about.
Yeah, it was like good. It was a classic example of what do they call that? Prior restraint, right? Basically,
cool. Mm-hmm. Both those things were at play. I mean, it was a weird time. It's a very violent movie for sure, but it's also typical of the genre, right? So,
yeah. And honestly, like if you're a right-wing person, if you're a left-wing person, you're going to find something to like about it. But either way, that doesn't make it a good movie, in my opinion.
What about Eric? Have you seen this one?
No, I would watch Betty Gilpin do laundry for 8 straight hours. But
I've heard that before from many people. Yes. So I'd never seen it. Luke Horlbeck forced me to watch it essentially, and I promised him, because if I didn't watch it, he would have killed me. But because he's a left, he would have killed me like in a way that they kill people in The Hunt to kind of make an example of me. I think that's what he was. That's not really true for people who don't know Luke. He would never hurt anybody like that. So
disclaimer: our friend Luke is not a murderer.
Yay! Good job. But it wasn't as great as he said it was. It kind of faded out for me by the time the movie was over. And
it's very premisey.
Very premisey, and he's got some fun people in it, Ike Barinholtz and Glenn Howerton, and obviously Betty Gilpin, and then Amy Madigan. She's
Hillary Swank.
Hillary Swank, of course, but Amy Madigan saying, "Don't drink that poison." That made me laugh. That might have been the joke of the movie for me, because he's drinking pop. But if you see the film, you'll realize why it's funny. Anyways, it's okay. Check it out if you want to. Otherwise, who gives a shit? That's it. There you go. There's your quarantine viewing picks. I have not been watching many movies. I've just been thinking about society a lot. Oh, there it is.
5, 4, 5.
There it is. Don't forget to follow us on all the standard social medias. Instagram, Cinema9Pod. You can check out that Mark Holton interview. Who knows what we'll get next? Maybe Paul Schrader's coming on. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to bag? I feel confident that Eric is going to bag someone big here in the next 2 months. Right, Eric?
Don't forget Michael Imperioli, and he pisses us off, and we're like, hey, dude, shut the fuck up, Michael. I'm talking to you.
I feel like Michael's probably busy.
I'm sure if he hears that, that'll be a reason for him to come on, no doubt about it. But either way, we welcome all of you. 5-star rating, Apple Podcasts. That'd be great. Please, pretty please. Thank you very much. And Aaron wants everyone to know that Chud is rated at a 5.6 on IMDb.
It's not bad. Not too shabby.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not too shabby. All right. Well, now it's time for Eric's secondary pick. I thought we were going for the 2000. Are we ever going to know what the 2010 movie was?
No, I might bring it back.
Oh, okay. God, I was really hoping for that one. But that's okay, because you chose 2001's The Man Who Wasn't There. It's in black and white, too. So if you don't like black and white movies, then don't watch this movie, because there's no color. It's not like one of those movies where it turns to color like Pleasantville. No, it's all black and white the whole time. But it's got a hell of a cast.
At least there isn't subtitles. Sorry.
Yeah. So there you go. It's got some of Travis's personal all-time favorites. I mean, James Gandolfini, fucking Alito.
Shaloub.
Yep, another one. Yep, there it is. The fucking Bozo the Hutt.
Alito, Shaloub, Badalucci.
Jenkins,
fucking Richard Jenkins showing up and just offering up his daughter to whoever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of hardly there. It's like Richard Jenkins in this. Not really.
I think he's the man who wasn't there. The movie's about him, right?
The
absent father who lets 50-year-old men hang out with his teenage daughter.
Anyways, all right. So, Eric, you chose this movie. Take us back in time, man.
I saw it at the State Theater in Ann Arbor. You know it as like the tiny little theater upstairs. And I walked out of the theater blown away. I remember telling a lot of people, just no one was talking about it. And it's one of those Coen Brothers movies that preceded that, like Coen Brothers slump. I think is Very Fair, Intolerable Cruelty, and The Lady Killers. And I think it gets lumped into those kind of, for some reason, lesser fare from the team. So I don't think a lot of people checked it out upon initial release, but I'm telling you, I walked out of the theater blown away, mostly because I was this big existentialist and I was reading like Sartre on my lunch breaks. So it had a profound impact on me at the time, mostly because of what I was going through in my life and my own alienation and this and that. So I really identified with the character. Spent about 15 years.
Yeah, shocker, by the way. Frances McDormand's in this movie.
Yeah.
What about you, Travis? Do you remember seeing this film?
I didn't see it in theaters. I remember I caught it on DVD. I can't remember where I was in the world at the time. It came out in, November 16th of 2001. So I would have been in Florida at the time. I would have, I caught this one on DVD, I believe. But I definitely was impressed. I was already a big Coen Brothers fan. This was the follow-up to Oh Brother, correct?
Yeah.
So while I was in film school, Abwat was, tremendous. Like it was blue. Like we were all very taken with this movie. Right.
Not me.
So. Well, I'm talking about specifically my class at Full Sail University in the year 2001.
Yeah, come on, Mike.
So
I want to get on the record.
It has nothing to do with you. All right. It's
okay, fine.
Anyway, so I watched it very soon afterwards. Roger Deakins. Oh, this is amazing, and I was like really worked up about it and really into it. And funnily enough, when I picked Clockers, I told you guys this already, but when I picked Clockers on my last viewing choice, I was weighing Clockers and The Man Who Wasn't There, and I was like, I'll do The Man Who Wasn't There next time.
It's unbelievable.
And it just kind of came out that way. So there you go.
I don't know what that says, but that's fascinating. That says something. It's cool. Good for you guys. I never seen this movie ever, so this is my first viewing again. And it just never caught my interest. Just looks like I never really sat through Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I don't know if I've ever actually sat through it. I don't know if I've seen it, but I've not seen it again. Like I know all these scenes and John Goodman's talking like an asshole and somebody's talking under a tree and somebody's saying, hey, dumb shit. And there's like people singing songs about, hey, here, here. Something about burying a treasure. Do not seek the treasure, maybe. That's something.
Sounds like you have seen it. That's very accurate.
Yeah. Sounds like you've seen Chameleons twice, but you haven't seen two major Coen Brothers films.
Chameleons twice. Old Mike, Chameleons twice. Go over here.
Yeah, I'm never gonna. That's permanent now. That's gonna be a part of the future. But so I watched it, and I didn't even know this was a Coen Brothers film until you just mentioned it, because I didn't even look that up. I just watched it.
You didn't notice in the blazing credits across the beginning of the film?
Yeah, but they didn't show their names. So
yes, they did.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't see their Coen Brothers names in the opening titles. It seemed like the man wasn't there.
Writer,
and then it just
director.
I really did not notice that at all.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they did.
It's like the movie just kind of jumped in. Hell, I've got it right here on the screen. I'm gonna go look back. The font's
fantastic. The way it kicks off against barber thing, and like you got like the shadows laying behind the font.
Yeah, see, dude, it's got all these.
It's very striking.
Does it say a Coen Brothers film? That's the thing. It says all these names I don't recognize.
I'm pretty sure it says, produced
working
by
title.
Ethan Coen.
USA Films presents.
Are you gonna like sit here and make the audience wait?
A working title production
to like get to the.
No, I just want to see these opening credits.
You're gonna sit here and watch it.
It doesn't say the Coens. It doesn't.
It says it at the end of the opening credits. It says directed by Ethan Coen or Joel Coen. I always forget which one's which.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
That's all the credits name. Either way,
at any rate, this is all a big way to explain how you didn't do your homework.
John Polito's a cool guy. James Gandolfini's cool. I remember seeing that. Yeah. See, it introduces all the actors' name, and then it says the man who wasn't there. And then staring at this barber cylinder again and again and again and again and again.
Right. Maybe they expected people to, know who they were by that point. Maybe they thought they had earned your respect, Michael.
You know what it was? Is staring at that barber cylinder.
Whatever the fuck that thing's called. I've been really puzzling over what you call those things.
You know the history behind that? It's one of my favorite fun facts of anything.
Blood.
Yeah, it's bloodletting service.
Yeah, it represents blood.
There's not a single credit in the opening about any of the behind the scenes
Okay,
cast.
all right.
Okay.
We got you.
I just want to make sure I wasn't crazy. So, yeah, because I would have remembered.
You're not diligent, but you're also not crazy.
That's right. Well, I was diligent in watching the film. I definitely watched the movie to a T. No fast forwarding. All right. So, is this a film that has a good rating on IMDb? And knowing now that it's a Coen Brothers movie, I did not look it up. So I'm going to venture.
I can't help myself, man. I've always got to look at the cast as I'm going. I'm like, who? I'm like, Abraham Ben Ruby's in this. I always got to dig it up.
I'm getting really good at just looking to the left real quick and sliding up so I can see the cast without looking at the numbers. So I'm going to say this is definitely in the sevens because the Coen Brothers, probably a 7.3.
Eric,
keep going. I know it too.
Yeah, 7.5.
7.5.
Oh,
it's an elite status.
Yeah, it's good. It's not
I would say
it's not an 8.
7, 7, 7, 8. You start getting pretty elite, but definitely 8. 8 is.
Yeah. What was the one that was a 7.8 recently? I was like, wow, shit. What was that? It was before
Chud?
Clockers.
Was it Chud?
Was it Chameleons?
Was it Chameleons?
I don't know. It was
Chameleons 2? I'm sure there's a Chameleon 2, right?
Chameleon Origins.
By the way,
Origins.
God damn
a
it.
Wolverine story.
I also mixed this movie up growing up over the years with the Bill Murray movie.
Yeah, that's the problem with these fucking vague titles. I'm not there. You're not there. He's not there. We're not here. Where are we?
It's not a memorable title. That's true.
Okay, at least you admit that. 81% for the critics, 85% from the audience. Very tight scores, rock solid scores. Critics say overwhelmingly this is an excellent film, although it's not in the 90s and it's not in the upper 80s. So this has some criticisms, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but
this is the part of the segment where we check out the criticisms. We got Destin. This is prime Destin time.
Yeah, I assume we're gonna find Destin. Goody Koontz and Destin. We'll be looking both.
Goody Koontz and Destin. It's like Christmas.
We'll see if we find them. No promises.
I thought you'd already. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to make any promises. How about Todd McCarthy from Variety? He's kind of known as like an anal guy, right? The film holds. I think he is. The film holds the interest, to be sure, but more due to the sure sense of craft and precise effect that one expects from the Coens than from genuine involvement in the story.
You have to sit there, and I did while I'm watching it, and I thought to myself, if we had the same script and someone else directed it, would I like it as much as I used to when it first came out? Because the technical prowess is so overwhelmingly omnipresent throughout in such a wonderful way.
I would agree with that.
Valid points you make here, friend.
Yeah, so far no Goody Koontz or Destin Thompson. Peter Rayner of New York Magazine says, the man who wasn't there denatures pulp. And although I know this was the Coens' intention, it's not a particularly gratifying one. Their movie isn't there either. Oh,
they what do they say? It denatures pulp. It denatures pulp.
Yeah,
that sounds like a fucking obscure 70s punk band or something. Hey, did you check out Denature's Pulp?
Not bad. Although Pulp, they were good in the 80s. Yeah, they had a big hit, didn't they?
They did.
Common People. Common People. I don't know if that's how the chorus goes or not, but it is a song.
No idea.
By the band Pulp. How about Tom Long of the Detroit News? A noble failure in the canon of America's best sibling film team. A movie that was there just a bit too long. A noble failure in the canon of America's best sibling film team.
Have you ever heard a more left-handed fucking compliment? A noble failure.
That's from Detroit's own, man. That's fucking great.
That is brutal.
What if someone called you a noble failure?
Here we go. Destin Thompson.
All right, it's been a while. Destin.
It couldn't. This might be his shortest, and that's saying something because he never says much.
I bet it's brief, but there's concision here. Let's hear it.
The movie ... is wonderfully spirited.
That sounds like an ellipsis. So something was taken out of that. That's because there was probably those ... are probably. There were words there.
It seems intentional. Yeah,
I mean, why does he need the dots? The movie is wonderfully spirited.
It sounds like a blurb that someone took something out of it to me. But
I don't see a lot of ellipses in any of these other ones. I'm just saying, but yeah, I'll leave it open to interpretation. Either way, he gives it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So.
Let's give Destin the benefit of the doubt here. Come on.
He loved it, apparently. Roger Ebert said, the man who wasn't there is so assured and perceptive in its style, so loving, so intensely right, that if you can receive on that frequency, the film is like a voluptuous feast.
I was going to say, what a wonderful review until he got to the word voluptuous feast.
Is that like fucking a large-breasted woman? Is that what he means?
I'm pretty sure it's coitus with a turkey, like a basted turkey, not a live one. That'd be gross. But, a dead one that's been cooked.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I can't find Goody Coons. It seems like it's a one-off for Goody Coons. He popped in for whatever the fuck movie that was, and he disappeared.
Oh, Goody Coons were out, though.
So anyways, I read a few bad ones, but most of them are all overwhelmingly positive.
All right.
Yeah, so. I mean, the film does get accused of kind of being this inside joke between the Coen brothers because they're known for this very bizarre, offbeat, just weird, bonkers kind of humor that they mix in with like classic pulpy noir, and I think this is a great example of it because you have, while I like the UFOs and stuff, you've got like this serious, morose tale and just this goofy stuff going on, and they go for it.
Did you guys watch? I think it was the second season of Fargo, the TV version of the.
I haven't seen the TV version.
So there's it's a similar thing going on there, and as I'm watching it, I'm like, shit, they probably got that from that Coen Brothers movie because just throughout the season these fucking flying saucers just show up and don't really affect the film one way or the other. And similar thing that's happening here, which it's interesting. The movie takes place in the late summer, early fall. And I guess throughout the fall really of 1949, just a couple years after the Roswell incident and the kickoff of the flying saucer kind of fervor that gripped the nation around that time. And I found the character, as brief as she was, but beautifully fucking shot, and Nerdlinger, right? Nerdlinger. Her whole thing where she's couldn't cope with her husband's infidelity and couldn't cope with her husband's death. So instead, I thought concocted a whole story about UFOs, but apparently, sometimes they'll break you out of prison so you can look at them and nod. So they're in the film, but because remember at the end of the movie, that's what happens. They show up, they let him out of prison. He just walks out, looks at him, gives him a hearty nod and turns around and walks back into his cell, which is probably a dream or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, dream sequence.
Okay, so this movie's about a guy in a barbershop. He's narrating too, so it's post World War II, and it's black and white, so it's already dry as fuck. They're taking you out of it a little bit. It's not for everybody in the fast world of MTV 2001, and I want my MTV, but Billy Bob Thornton, very popular character and actor at this time, so he could dominate a film. James Gandolfini, The Sopranos are taking over the world at this time as well. And Frances McDormand has already been an Academy Award winner. So you got a lot of great acting, but it's dry as fuck.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be.
I would argue that, it might take out some of the younger viewers, it might take them out of the experience and stuff, but the movie's a very, obvious and deliberate homage to a whole era of filmmaking. So in a lot of ways, for me, that stuff draws me in. The way that when the car crash sequence comes and it spins very campy style, there's enough throwbacks in there that it pulls me into the film as not being reality, but as being as if it's really taking place in 1949, which I liked that.
Yeah. It's a tribute. So
you just don't care that it's you don't care for it being in black and white because you seem to really not like it. That
it's fine as black and white. It's cool. It's just this guy's life. He hates his life, but he doesn't admit it that he hates it. It's she does her thing, and you know what? She likes me because I don't talk, and that's why we got married real quick. And she's fucking James Gandolfini. It's very clear to me, and I just smoke my cigarettes. There's endless cigarettes in this movie. Maybe an all-time record. All time?
What is there more of, cigarettes or casual racism against Asian people?
Ooh,
well, that
could be a
it's very it's authentic to the era, but
it is authentic.
We are kind of beaten about the head with it. I get it. Some there's a few lines where I'm just fucking yikes, man. You guys could have pumped the brakes a little bit on this. Like,
I mean,
we get it. We don't need to have like, like, all right.
That is one of the you touch upon an interesting thing, because as good as a murder mystery noir this is, it's actually, in my opinion, a really good suburban comedy. And one of the things it does is it examines these men who came from this horrible war, where at this point in time they only see these people as these enemies. That's why they're tossing out like, oh, Janice and
which ones? Which man? Neither one of them. No, he didn't. He's stolen valor. Remember, he spent the whole war in San Francisco.
Yeah, he was in San Diego in a boatyard.
Right.
Man. It was all bullshit.
You're right.
Yeah, none of the characters have spent any time overseas.
Yeah, and he had bogus arches, so Billy Bob had to sit on his ass.
Which that was interesting to me. I have fallen arches, so I felt represented.
I'm sorry, bogus fallen arches.
They're
Yeah,
using that as a scapegoat for just shitty behavior.
I'm just glad they got Christopher McDonald in this movie, because he belongs in movies like this always, even if it's ever so briefly. So,
all right, well, so it is a fun little scene, but like, what is the purpose of it? Is it a memory? Is he in hell? Because like this happens like after the car crash, and of it's fucking sudden. Like Christopher McDonald is a pavement salesman, and his wife is alive again, and they don't like being around each other. Is this some sort of Sartre kind of like hell is people kind of thing?
So Ed is writing his memoir, and I think it's and he says itself, I'm going to toss stuff in there that may not be that appropriate to the narrative, but I'm getting paid by the word. I think he's throwing it in as a memory because he's getting to the point where he's appreciating Doris more and more before he dies and what she did for him. And this is a great example of her purpose in this marriage, which was to save him and protect him from being so naive as to take on these offers from these asshole salesmen to keep coming. She's like, no, get the fuck out of here. Whereas he would probably just jump right into that investment before he met Tolliver.
That's a good point and interesting. But what's funny to me about Tolliver, the character played by John Polito, is that dry cleaning is clearly a great idea. Like, this is a good actual investment if Tolliver is for real, which we don't really ever know for sure if he is or not. I suspect that he's not. He offers a receipt twice but never actually gives it. It takes great offense when he's like, hey, you're not going to screw me, are you? So I'm pretty sure he is a con man, but like, damn,
that's how you sell it right there.
Yeah, but imagine if you did get in on the ground floor of dry cleaning, you'd be well to do. So he actually does recognize a good deal. And having pavement instead of gravel driveway is not the worst thing in the world.
It wasn't his money anyways, though, so who cares?
Well, he worked for a living. What do you mean?
Oh, the $10,000 he ripped off from Big Dave.
Which it's worth mentioning. $10,000 in 1949 is worth over $100,000 today. That's no small chunk of change.
That's why he was going to open the annex. It took a lot of money to open that annex, and it wasn't going to happen now.
Who would fucking pay that? Who would fucking pay that?
Who's obsessed with his image, which we find out later how much he really is obsessed with his image. We didn't even know.
That's true. That's a good point.
That makes sense now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an homage of the period and blah, blah, blah. And it comes out in a period of time which it doesn't necessarily belong, in my opinion, but that's not what the point of this. The point is, does this movie hold up? So
that's such an interesting point, because that's one of my kind of the thing that was nagging at me a little bit about the movie. It's set in the 1940s, and granted, I'll give it that all the technical flourishes it does are only types of things that you could do in the 40s. There's not a lot of like showboating in terms of like, digital this and that. Yeah. But most of your protagonists in the 1940s in this genre are nothing like Ed Crane. They are confident, arrogant go-getters. So to have this person giving us the narrative is like, seems a little bit disjointed to be set in this era.
Well, I think that he's also supposed to be a subversion of that trope, right? I mean, like the whole fact that he's a generally like one of the most laconic characters in film, but at the same time is the narrator. Like he doesn't like to talk, but he's telling his story. But
it calls himself the modern man, as if like he's everyone and he's you and your neighbor, where people weren't just predominantly like that back then.
Well, Freddie Riedenschneider says that. Freddie Riedenschneider is full of shit.
Oh, he's the best. Come on, man. He's good at his job, though.
Very good at his job. He's all about crafting a narrative to bring in reasonable doubt. He is not remotely interested in the truth
at
all.
No. He's not interested in helping them. He just wants to win too.
Yeah, which is what you want.
It is what you want if your life's on the line. And if you, so I don't. I mean, he doesn't look like himself. Tony Shalhoub really doesn't look like himself in this movie for some reason. It almost looks like he had like when he's sitting down initially, we first meet him at that diner and he orders all that fucking food. Yeah. To me, he just looks so different in a way. I don't know what they did. It might be the hair or something, but
I don't know.
He looked a lot different to me, and that's not a big deal. It's just something I noticed. So
I didn't see it. I think it's maybe the most confident character I've ever seen him play. Which is fun. It's that's very bold true. And like it's I'm glad this one didn't go to Tucci. This would have been an easy Tucci role. I love Tucci. It can always it's going to be one or the other or both in your movie. If you make a movie, one or the other or both is going to be in it. It's your option.
Yeah, that's fine. I like both of them. But this is early Scarlett Johansson as well. Is this the same year as Ghost World?
Yeah,
I believe so. I don't know if this was her first movie or not. What was her exact first?
I remember in North and Home Alone 3, A Horse Whisperer. She's been around.
Oh God! See, I didn't even know that she was a child actor. Every fucking actor grows up from a child actor these days. God,
isn't that wild? I never think of her as a child actor, but she's a fucking child actor. She's there's a reason why it feels like she's been around forever. She's been around since '94.
First time I ever saw her was in Lost in Translation when it came out that year. I'd never seen those other movies, so I didn't know.
Ghost World and this I saw the same year, so that's the year I became aware of.
I saw that after the fact, but I never fucking saw North or The Horse Whisperer, so yeah, those were not.
North. You're not missing anything.
The North is an all-time disaster Rob Reiner film. Anyways, this is about The Man Who Wasn't There. It's a 2001 film, and we're talking about whether it holds up or not. It's got a good story, and I'm actually going to give you credit for that. That is cool that the guy is not a loudmouth. He doesn't like the talkers. Let you hear, Shay, I'm a loudmouth. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of loudmouth motorboats back in the day, and when these movies were actually made in the time period. Yeah. And now I like that point. Billy Bob Thornton, he just smokes, and he doesn't really have much to offer. He's just kind of there. So even though we think maybe the movie is about Richard Jenkins' character, it's definitely about Billy Bob too.
Yeah, Michael Badalucco, the other barber, the brother of Francis McDormand's character, he's clearly like that's more the character you'd expect.
Yeah,
and also I gotta say probably the best performance from him that I've seen. Now it's also one of the meatier performances roles that he ever got, but he really does really good work here. I think
nails it.
God, what do I know him from the most? I'm trying to think about it.
Summer of Sam, maybe.
Never saw that one.
Leon the Professional.
Yep.
Maybe. Anyways,
you don't like Mozart, or you don't like Beethoven. Sorry.
Oh wow. Well, he was in Bewitched, so.
Okay.
All right. I don't remember that one. Caught it, but don't remember it.
So what else about this bozo movie?
Well, I mean, I think it bothers a lot of people that our central character is just so detached from everything. Like, he doesn't really seem to care that much that he's getting cheated on, and to have someone that doesn't really seem to care that much about their own destiny, why should we care? I mean,
I think he does care, though. I mean, I think that's why he fucking he is pretty much fine with letting it happen because he's clearly a very passive guy who lets his life wash over him. But once he hears about this deal, it's going to be his way out, right? Like he thinks like finally I will leverage somehow this situation that's been working against me. Like I think of that scene when he's shaving her legs for her in the bathtub, and he talks a lot about like hair. It's a part of us, and we throw it away, and all this stuff. There's a lot of talk about hair, and I guess it's supposed to be meaningful, but I do think that like when she says I love you and she doesn't even look up at him, he doesn't answer, but he looks at her, and I think there's a lot in that look, like you don't love me, and I'm not sure I love you.
Definitely kind of a marriage of convenience, which is kind of surprising towards the end when he literally says like maybe in another life, like I can tell her this or that. Like what is he talking about? Does he have these deeper feelings about that he didn't?
No, it's like what Trevor said. He appreciated her more after the fact. Maybe possibly that scene where they're with the guy in the pavement cellar, that he's realizing more and more that
Eric said that.
Oh, all right, Eric, you said that. He appreciated her now, and he's appreciating her more after the fact, sacrificing her life. And even though she drank a lot at that Italian wedding, and old Bozo Fest had to
congratulations on the goddamn cherries.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that was kind of funny, but this movie's not that funny at all to me. I tried to laugh a few times. You laughed once.
I laughed when the cops come and he thinks that they're coming to arrest him, but they're actually coming to tell him that his wife has been arrested.
Oh yes,
and the one
yes!
cop is like, Pete's got something to tell you. I had to laugh at that. That was
I
pretty
forgot
funny.
about that. They're fucking obsessed with this shit detail
Shit
more than
detail.
what he's going to be told. It's like shit detail. That did make me laugh. That was the best scene in the movie for me. I'm not even kidding. I can't believe I forgot that.
That's a pretty good scene.
That's fucking hilarious.
That same thing happens again. That's why I love these Coen brothers characters, because they're so self-centered. The guy that has to go and tell him that Doris was pregnant, even after he delivers this horrible news, he's like,
yep, there it is again.
Fuck, man. I can't believe I had to do this.
Well, that's none of my business. Like, yeah, none of this was any of your fucking business, pal.
Yeah. What the fuck? I mean, what's it going to help this guy to know that, she's pregnant now? What a fucking asshole.
We hadn't had the sex act in several years.
Those two cops are classic Coen brothers writing. That's really good. That's what they do at best, man. Because it's just these two shitty. If I was those guys, the real guys who got cast those characters, like, oh, this is a fucking great part. I love this, and it's so minute in the overall scheme of the movie. But that's when they're at their best, in my opinion. These small roles, these moments, like in Lebowski or in Barton Fink. All these, there's so many. But anyways, it's not a fun movie, though. To me, it's not fun. It's interesting, and it's obviously gorgeously shot, and all these amazing lighting schemes, even with the black and white setups. Just when they're in the jail and the private dick comes in to lay out the story.
Yes,
that is a really lovely shot. I give that full.
Reading Snauer standing in the light, like with the bars across him.
Yeah, and he's telling the tale about the new theory and all.
And it kind of looks like there's a UFO above him, and it brings back this motif of like. I love all the UFO and alien stuff. I mean, for a lot of people, that's their biggest thing is like, why is this in there? But like you said, like this is the 1940s, and people are maybe like, I'm sure they were questioning the concepts of God and Catholicism, especially in this after World War II. So they're turning to other possibilities, and I think. They're showing us like these aliens as this new thing. Like maybe this is a chance to maybe get out of this world or have an opportunity that you can't even begin to comprehend. So even Dave's wife thinks that this may be something extraterrestrial. And even he, I think at the prison is thinking to himself, well, I wish aliens were real so they can offer me a chance to get out of there. And he's clearly reading all these like pulpy magazines. So there may be something there.
Yeah, maybe. To go back to the way it looks and the way it's shot and this distractingly gorgeous film that it really is. Now, all kinds of praise heaped on Roger Deakins here, but I do want to like bring something up, which so I was talking about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and how that blew us all away when we were in film school, my class specifically at Full Sail 2001. We were all pretty blown away. And then we learned about Quantel, which is like color correction. And we saw footage of that film before color correction. It was like, oh,
dirty field.
Yeah, it looks like fucking anything. And I could have shot this. And I went, and not literally, of course, but I mean, like it was a lot less impressive once I realized the role that color correction played. In this film, Roger Deakins is not Conrad L. Hall. This is not In Cold Blood. This was not shot with like the appropriate lights and colors and stuff that would make it exceptionally difficult to film in black and white, because they shot it in color and then just corrected it afterwards. They shot it in really drab tones, and I actually found like website that like just literally like tracks the whole movie side by side in color and in black and white, and it's just like
movie?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, because I heard that they did all of this in the old school lab and did not do the color digital grading.
Oh boy!
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, it was shot in color. Like the film was shot in color film. Now I don't know that they used Quantel necessarily to in this case, but I'm just saying.
Quantel Pro.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like that word that has nothing to do with it. So, but I mean, it brings up a fascinating thought for me. Like I've been puzzling this since I watched the movie, which like. How much does it matter? If the movie looks gorgeous, then the movie looks gorgeous. And if it was done with ease, and that makes sense that it's been decades since In Cold Blood. Like it makes sense. On the other hand, like I have a lot, like, it's when you look at a gorgeously shot black and white film, like part of me wants to appreciate, because of the expertise, and my expected expertise is that like the colors and the lights are just completely foreign to what the human eye would expect, to how color filming would work under ordinary circumstances. So it just kind of, I don't know, opened up a door of doubt or something.
Yeah.
My
Trevor,
love, open the
I'm
door.
so glad you brought that up, because I felt the same way. I thought
Oh boy.
Deakins elevated the material, and it wasn't, the material just benefiting from this additional Zathura cinematography, particularly for me. So when
Don't
Doris,
be that guy.
I got to. When it's discovered that Doris died and she hung herself tragically. Okay.
He gave her the dress with the belt.
And then the movie just keeps fucking going.
And
Go
then,
ahead.
well, immediately after they discover this news, the camera follows. It's like attached to the gavel, and then Badaluco's like weeping, and you almost want to laugh because he's so silly. It's like, what is this? How am I supposed to feel bad for Doris when you're throwing all of this shit at me in the cinematography and the silly performance? So mismanaged tone in areas for me.
I didn't want to laugh.
Yeah, I didn't find that humorous. I didn't find Badaluco's performance there humorous personally. I thought he was a wreck. I mean, I just thought he was a wreck. I wasn't laughing at him because I have empathy.
That might be my problem, because I don't feel bad for other people.
I do like killing small animals.
I've seen him.
Yeah, but
You want to talk about style over substance, man? Come on now.
Well, so that's kind of what I ended up sort of walking away thinking, is that this movie looks great. It's well acted. I mean, it's excellently acted on paper in so many ways. This is gorgeous. I mean, it's good, but there is like I got up and walked away a lot. I got up and went and did other things. I would get up pretty often to like, let's go see, I don't know, what's in this room of my house.
Get a tour of your own home you've been living in?
Like find something to fidget with for a minute, maybe some laundry to fold. All right.
I haven't been in this closet in a while.
Why do you think that is? Like, is it because you already knew where the story was going, or the taciturn narration?
I kind of forgot a lot of the story. I just wasn't all that into it. And there's a lot that, like, I mean, again, okay, so they're getting paid by the word. I'm not getting paid by the minute to watch it.
Damn.
All this stuff about Birdie, which is like, it's somewhat interesting, but it goes a lot more into detail with all that. For one, like, what did you expect this poor girl to do, Ed Crane? Like, you are a much older man showing an extreme amount of interest in her. Of course, she's going to like read you the wrong way. But also, like, is it even the wrong way? Because, like, he's clearly jealous when he sees her talking to a boy her own age. I don't know. So all that's
Freddie?
like, yeah. Well, I don't remember. Is that
Hello,
his name?
sir. Yeah, Freddie. Hello, sir.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Crane. To his back.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like I had huge issues with this. Oh wow, a movie from the turn of the most recent
We've
century.
all got issues.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, this is a common thing in movies from around that time.
Oh, okay.
The older man and the younger woman, and it's actually done a little bit better than most of these kind of films around that time, like Beautiful Girls and stuff. But still, it's just like, why? What am I supposed to be getting from this? He wants to like force his shit onto someone else, and she'd make a good typist someday. Like, what does this matter? Like, I'm not sure why.
No way.
Any professional interest in music. She flat out tells him she's not interested. It's basically like for like one grade on some test.
It's all for him.
Do a rehearsal.
Yeah.
And it's not even, I could appreciate it more if he like wanted to sincerely like help her, but it's purely selfish, man. And you got all this talk about him being his own person and this and he doesn't call himself a barber, and yet he cuts his hair. But he wants to
Bauble. Hey, Bauble.
But he wants to like make her this like what is that? God damn it! I'm gonna get a Pygmalion type figure where he sees this talent and he's like, oh, you have to be this now because I've been told since I know how to cut hair, I have to be a barber. He doesn't want to be a barber. No. Musician.
No, because everything sucks in his life, and he thinks she's the one good thing. He's pulling that whole thing like, I want to do something good. He mentions that to her. You got to do this. Yeah. I have seen so much wasted talent and just everything wasted in my life, and I'm not going to let this one thing. You're not old enough. He tells her that directly. but then she still, it still doesn't go the way he wants it to. So.
He would have helped her more if he would have been genuinely interested in whether or not she was interested in pursuing music.
Because again, it's not about him. It's not about her. It's all about him and his wants. And
not a crazy assumption, though, right? I mean, she played music all the fucking time.
But she is not passionate about it. When he talks to her about it, like she's not passionate about it. And again, and also like he's like making these big grandiose plans about being her manager and like that being the next chapter of his life, and like never even stopped to ask her like, hey, is this a thing that you want?
Well, I understand.
So there's some very interesting things that are happening here, but sometimes they do feel a little bit puffed up and drawn out, especially when that last half hour after Doris's death feels like a lot of extra bonus time. It's kind of like, it's just kind of still going, which I'd already mentioned, but like I felt like a little bit of streamlining here would have gone a long way.
Wow. Well, that's fair. That's respectable. I can understand that. I'm going to leave soon because I just want to leave. I can't take this anymore. No disrespect to you guys.
We can tell. The audience can tell. It's fine.
That's good.
I don't really regret it at all. You got a big day in front of you. Yeah, you do.
I've waited a long time for this. So at least I made a promise that I would come on for the show still. So I'm proud of myself for that. Sticking to the commitment.
Impressed and appreciative.
Anything else you want to mention before we close it out?
No. Travis's point was so well taken. There's not much there to this movie. So why do we need to fill up our podcast pontificating on the existential horse shit that's half-baked?
All right. So what do you think, Eric? Does it hold up?
You've got this odd mixture of film noir and bizarre comedy and neo-noirism, but the movie's not entertaining. I think that's the problem. It's smart. It's really good. It's well acted, but it's not entertaining. That's a problem. The characters are too detached for me to even give a fuck. Okay. We've got a really good performance by John Polito. I think he probably does the best performance in the movie, and it's often overlooked. And for Billy Bob Thornton to hold interest such as it is by doing nothing but smoking, I mean, there's a lot to say there. He literally just is standing there smoking, and yet you really can't hardly take your eyes off him most of the time. So, does the good outweigh the bad? No, I don't know if I'll be returning to this in the future. I got everything I could out of it, and that's that. Doesn't hold up for me.
Wow. Well, you picked it.
I did.
You ought to know. You bought it. Sure, I'll go next. This movie's kind of dry. Jason Gandolfini's fantastic. I think he gives the best performance. I mean, Polito's great. Polito's really good in this, but Gandolfini's in his prime here, and it's short-lived. Spoiler alert. But he gives you everything that I would come to expect from him, and it's a different type of Sopranos role in a way, even though he does get violent, but it's not that at all. It's very different. McDormand's fantastic. She still doesn't even say as much. Billy Bob obviously says way less, but she still doesn't say a ton either because she doesn't like to talk as much. And the scene in the bathtub.
I'm sorry, you got the best lawyer in California, and you kill yourself before you even figure out whether or not you lost your case?
Don't you realize how pissed she was that she got duped by Big Dave? It was clear to me when that private dick revealed the truth about him being a stolen valor scumbag that she was like laughing but crying about it, and that really fucked her up. I really believe that's how I interpret it.
And she was carrying his kid too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there you go. That's how I see that. Decent film. I felt like Travis. I definitely was like packing things in the other room. I had the volume cranked up so I could kind of hear it. I'd never even seen this movie before at certain points. So I'm gonna say it doesn't hold up. I'm sorry.
It falls to me. There are things I very much like about this movie, like the fact that I think it's really cool and interesting that when Ed Crane kills Big Dave, he does it in self-defense. Like you're watching, the thing escalates, the fight escalates and escalates. It's like, whoa, fuck, he's like gonna choke him to death, or this window's gonna crack. Like this is not like he's literally trying to kill him here, and we don't know at that point that he'd already had killed Tolliver. So I think it's cool that he kills him in self-defense, and it never comes up again. He never uses that remotely to justify what he did, even though it does justify quite a bit, but he's just such a fucking like placid, I'll go with whatever kind of guy. So it speaks volumes about the character. And I think the character is well developed in that way. I agree that Polito as Tolliver is awesome. Like he's really fucking good in it. I'm always happy to look at something from this era and have a gay man playing a gay man. That's exciting to me.
Shit on me.
Shit on, yeah, John shit on me, Polito. And the Gandalf. There is some really good stuff here. In the end, though, yeah, this thing drags. It doesn't really seem to serve a purpose. It does kind of feel like one of the things I read about it that I think I read it on like the IMDb trivia was like, take that with a grain of salt, but supposedly it was like kind of like an on the fly thing where they saw the Coen brothers saw like a picture of a barber and just kind of like, let's make up a backstory about this barber, and just kind of went from there. And it does feel less thought out than a lot of their stuff. And I'm going to have to say this belongs in the bottom half of their filmography. This doesn't really hold up for me. We got 3 not holds up for this Coen Brothers feature, which I never would have guessed going in. I thought I was going to love it again.
It's derivative. It's so derivative. I mean, this is like the 5th time a Coen Brothers character gets caught up in this wild what's the word I'm looking for? Embezzlement or scheme.
Calamity.
Worse and worse and worse. Blackmail scheme. It's all about the blackmail. And then, don't do it. It's just going to get worse and worse. Then it does. And blah, blah, blah.
So that's how life goes, man. Who cares? Hey, we all shut this movie down. I'm glad we watched it, though. So it's off my list.
Surprising.
Now I know the truth about this film. So at least
God
I can
bless
live.
Us for so many other, I'm sorry, Mike, but so many people, and if you like the movie, that's cool. But God bless us for not just saying, "Oh, it's so gorgeous, it's a masterpiece." Like, we get it, but if your story is just blah blah, who cares?
I love it when you bless us, or when you have God bless us. I mean,
thank you, because we don't do that very often for ourselves. So we do appreciate you doing that for the show, which includes us. So we're good, which is nice because we don't get enough of that. But I will tell you this: we're always honest. Everybody here, all 3 of us, always keeps it real. So at least I know Travis does. Sometimes Eric's too honest and he regrets it after the show. But I'm glad that he's always true to himself, and that's what we do on the Cinema Night. Yeah,
and I do want to say, like, you make a good point, Eric. That like if you are listening to this because you love the film, I do think that that's like valid. Like, I'm not saying it's a shit film. I would never argue this is a shit film. But I just think it's lesser Coen, which makes it better than most movies in its own way. But like, just not one you need to revisit.
That's a very solid point. Yes. Lesser Coen is still better than a lot of other stuff.
All right.
There it is. As far as next week's film, I have a list of movies that I always go through, but I was very clear. I think I'm going to go to 2007.
Okay. I don't think we've been there yet.
I don't think have we not? Okay, great. That'd be wonderful to go to 2007. This is a well-known film, no doubt about it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Many massive heavy hitters in this one.
It's streaming somewhere.
It's gotta be.
You didn't check? Oh boy.
I thought.
No, come on. No, it's gotta be. This was not like my other choices. This is, you can find this anywhere. I'm very confident. We're gonna do 2007's Ridley Scott's.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Denzel Washington. Russell Crowe.
Yeah, man.
American Gangster.
American Gangster.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Many times, but it's been a minute, and I'm not sure if it's good or not. So I can't wait to see what we all think of it when we watch it. So,
I don't think we've done Ridley Scott either. So that's another big hitter to bring on. That's cool.
No, we haven't. Oh, great, cool. That's even better then. Yeah, and this will be our second Denzel movie, I believe, because we did.
Devil in a Blue Dress for those that are not living inside of Michael's head.
Yeah, Brian Madison. That was a good episode. Go check that one out. We had fun doing that one. So this will be much different than that, although it is a period piece again in a way, so it's kind of cool. But either way. Next week, American Gangster. A lot of quotable lines in this one, but is it a good movie? We'll find out next week. I'm off to Canada. I'll be back soon, though, and I promise I'll be back for next week's episode. Don't forget, Cinema9Pod at ProtonMail.com, Cinema9Pod, all your favorite social media platforms. Travis Roy, Eric Brancham, Michael Govier.
What kind of man are you?
Take it to a lawyer.